All right, good morning, everybody. Everyone's working for the weekend, including me. Good morning, y'all. Today is Friday, January 3rd, 2025. This is episode 784 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I am your host, Dr. Gerald Auger, and over the next 45 minutes or so, me, you, the crew, DJ B-Sec, soon to be back behind the glass, Augusta Delgado, Marcus Kyler, Amish, Runaway, The Pain, Dennis Keefe, Kimberly Can Fix It, as always, coming from the great state of Flow Rida with FedEx, James will Quicken at 35,000 feet, and so many more friends. Guys, including Chuck Sapp. Don't sleep on Chuck Sapp, y'all. Guys, we're going to be shredding the top cybersecurity news stories of the day. I'll be giving my expert opinion and analysis on each of those stories on what it means to you as a practitioner to drive cyber risk reduction for your business stakeholders. It's critical in the effective delivery of cyber security to a business to stay current on trends, threat actor behaviors, TTPs, best practices, IOCs, etc. We got a lot of acronyms. We're not quite the U.S. government, but we got our acronyms for days, people. And that's what we're going to be doing over the next hour. Every single weekday morning, we're doing this. It is the first Friday of the month, which means we got some fun things. We're always trying to do some community initiatives, try to make the Simply Cyber community more than just a way station on your way to work in the morning. And first Fridays, we got the bingo. So if you don't know what it is, really quickly, I did link hold on, let me actually pin it to the to the chat. All right, so if you're on YouTube, you can see a pinned message right now. This is your bingo card. Go ahead. You get a bingo card. You get a bingo card. Everyone gets a bingo card. You can see here people are starting to stack up. Let's go. People are starting to stack up. Carrie, Jenny, Haircut Fish, Sierra. We got them. Elliot, Mattis. Everybody's in here. Get your bingo card. And as the show goes on, certain things will be said, certain things will happen, and you'll get to mark the bingos. So it's a lot of fun. If you get bingo, shout it out. Also, reminder, today at 1 p.m. Eastern time, we will be doing the AMA in the Simply Cyber Discord. So if you just go to simplycyber.io/Discord, you can get in there. And it's really, really cool. It's like a very intimate panel AMA. It's not streamed. It's not recorded. So you can be a little bit more vulnerable if you're feeling it that way. Guys, I don't prep a research for any of these shows. Good morning, PBO. Good to see you. I don't prep a research for any of the shows, so just know that I am bringing these hot takes to you sans prep. So it's authentic, it's genuine. Sometimes it's messy, but that's, how real life is, frankly. I do want to say shout out really quick to Mrs. Auger, who gave me a sick gift out of nowhere. I got this Stanley mug, right? She wanted to wait until I could get the retro synthwave version. You can't really tell, but it's like retro synthwave. Anyways, I have look at how big this thing is. It's bigger than my head, okay? This has the entire French press in it. My wife, knowing that I'm an absolute neurotic bird brain, was like, how about I optimize your workflow in the morning, Jerry? How about instead of bringing out a French press and a coffee cup, you just bring out a coffee cup the size of a French press? Huh? And now I'm cooking, baby. So thank you, Mrs. Auger, and I'm super excited to pour this down my face. Guys, before we get into it, let me say shout out and love to the stream sponsors, starting with my good friend, Eric Taylor. Let me give a shout out and love to my good friend and sponsor, Eric Taylor from Barricade Cyber Solutions. Y'all, Barricade Cyber Solutions is dedicated to helping businesses from cyber attacks and recover from the damage done. Cyber attacks can cause massive issues for businesses and send dedicated, hardworking business owners into turmoil. But Barricade Cyber Solutions knows how to mitigate the damage done by cyber incidents. Check them out at barricadecyber.com. Links in the description below. What you need to know about Barricade Cyber, basically, y'all, is that if you get a compromise, you get hit with ransomware, business email compromise, keyloggers, whatever, cryptojackers. If you need help recovering and dealing with threat actors, that's what Barricade specializes in. They're very good at it. You'll be happy that you have them on speed dial when you get them. Barricadecyber.com. Also, If you're looking to train up your staff or yourself, get those skills, may I recommend Antisyphon training. Secure your future, make the world safer, and do it with a bunch of awesome people. Let's hear from Antisyphon training. When I come back, I'm going to tell you how CPEs are a thing of the past, on how you have to struggle to get them, because we got them taken care of in spades. Let's go. Do you want cutting-edge, high-quality cybersecurity education, regardless of financial position? Check this out. I want to give some love and some praise to Antisyphon Training, powered by Black Hills Information Security. Antisyphon Training is absolutely disrupting the traditional cybersecurity training industry by providing high-quality, cutting-edge education to everyone, regardless of financial position. They bring industry professionals with years and years of experience into the classroom to teach you and anyone else who's interested practical skills that are in demand in the market today. And on top of that, the student experience is amazing, as you and hundreds or thousands in some instances of other students are actively engaging, networking, sharing tips, tricks, and experiences with each other, all live in the classroom. Go to antisyphontraining.com, check out their course calendar to see what course. All right, hey Chuck Sapp, I want to give some love and some praise to Chuck Sapp, ladies and gentlemen. Also, during the ad roll, because the ad rolls are pre-recorded videos, I get to take a sip of coffee. I want to give an update to everybody. This is real-time development, boots on the ground type stuff. The Stanley mug is actually so effective that my coffee doesn't cool off. I just took my first sip. I poured this like 20 minutes ago. I just took my first sip and burnt my tongue. So I am this close to my coffee, and I'm also this far from being able to drink it. Ah! Like, literally, this is my inner monologue right now. This is my inner monologue. Oh! All right. Guys, I want you to know that every single episode of the Daily Cyber Threat Brief is worth half a CPE, so say what's up in chat. Grab a screenshot of you saying what's up. It's right there. Oh, it's right there on the screen, or it's right above my head if we're in this display. Either way, you'll be on stage. Drop a hashtag TeamSC in chat. Make sure you got, the file will have a timestamp, so you'll know what day it was if you ever get asked. But just do it every single day. Take a screenshot. File it in a folder. Once a year, count the screenshots, and then you're off and running. Divide by 2, right? At the end of the year. You can get 120 CPEs, which is more than what you need. Quick shout out to Eric McKellen. Hold on. Can we see this? Oh, for the gifted subs. Thank you, Eric.
We just become best friends.
And if you're one of the individuals who got the gifted sub, welcome to the party, pal. All right. So this is a lot of fun. Hopefully you got your bingo card up, right? Everybody's got their bingo cards up and running. Iced coffee. Smart, Valentino. Oh, so smart. That's that's big brain, level 3000 IQ moves. I like it, Valentino. All right. You know what's funny? Like, really quick, just what's really interesting is, like, I drink iced coffee up north, but I don't drink it down here. But in Massachusetts, when I go there, it's like iced coffee all day. It could be like snowing out. I'll take an iced coffee. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys, do me a favor. It's time to get to work. Sit back, relax, and let's let the cool sounds of the hot news wash over us in an awesome wave. I will see you guys all at the mid-roll, where we'll be doing James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet's Joke of the Week. Beijing.
From the CISO series, it's Cybersecurity Headlines.
These are the cybersecurity headlines for Friday, January 3rd, 2025. I'm Steve Prentice. Beijing-linked hackers penetrated U.S. Treasury systems. According to a letter sent from the U.S. Treasury to congressional lawmakers on Monday, a Chinese state-sponsored APT actor was responsible for what is being called, quote, a major incident, end quote, that compromised U.S. Treasury Department workstations and classified documents at the Office of Foreign Assets Control. The department had been notified on December 8th by Beyond Trust that, quote, a foreign actor had obtained a security key, end quote, that allowed it to remotely gain access to employee workstations and the classified documents stored on them. The letter did not specify the number of impacted workstations or the kind of documents accessed, and the agency adds the compromised service, quote, has been taken offline and at this time there is no evidence indicating the threat actor has continued access to Treasury information, end quote.
All right. So the Department of Treasury hack, it's well known at this point. I guess now we're just doing the formal notifications to stakeholders. When you do incident response and you have an ongoing incident, this is actually not that bad as far as like a useful lesson learned. Threat actors got access to Beyond Trust. It's just a remote access solution, right? If you manage a workforce or you're an MSP, you need to jump into your clients' boxes from time to time to service them, to patch them, to whatever, right? End user calls in complaining about XYZ. Isn't it a lot easier to jump in their box and like look at it and fix it? It's the equivalent of the Rob Schneider SNL IT guy. This is a bit of a deep cut, but being like, move, and like shoving the end user out of the way so you can just fix their computer. That's what this remote access solution is. Somehow, the Chinese threat actor was able to get a key, some type of key, to access this Beyond Trust platform. And then through there, got into the Department of Treasury, onto a workstation, and according to this article, accessed classified material. Now, a couple of things to point out here. One, this is essentially a supply chain attack. No different than the Kaseya attack, or it's not exactly one-to-one as the SolarWinds attack, but kind of like that. But basically, third-party risk, okay? Now, this news story of the Senate Banking Committee getting a note from the Department of Treasury, guys, when there is an active incident, it's not like if there's an incident in your environment of any magnitude, right? Like if somebody clicks on something stupid or whatever, and you just like wipe their machine, you just wipe their machine and keep on going to business. You don't like hold an all hands meeting or something like that. So with large scale incidents, though, management wants to know what's going on. Legal wants to know what's going on. If it's really bad, you might even be having like, every 30 minutes updates if it's like, a newer incident or regular updates. This right here, the Department of Treasury sending a missive to the Senate Banking Committee. That's all this is. This is, hey, we're the Banking Committee and we want to know what's going on. You will give us an update. That's all this is, okay? It's like low-key a postmortem or a, what do they call that? A root cause analysis kind of type document. It's visibility, it's transparency, it's communications on current state of operations. That's all that is. And it's not a bad practice, okay? So if you're working in cyber or you're looking to work in cyber, be mindful that when you recover back to a known good state and you can wipe your brow and feel good that you've dealt with this incident, that doesn't mean it's over in some instances. Sometimes, well, almost always, you'd want to have lessons learned. How did they get in? Where did our processes break down? How can we be better? How can we stop it from happening again? How can we reduce the impact next time if they do get in again? Also, let's formally write up some type of communication to be used internally to document this, or to be able to send to legal, or whatever. Like, these are all great lessons learned and ones that we can take from this story. Now, one thing, just editorially speaking, I'm going to go ahead, and if you're a squad member, there's me with a tinfoil hat emote I just dropped. I'm going to go a little tinfoil hat. This isn't full-blown tinfoil hat. This is just like one layer of tinfoil on the tinfoil hat. I worked, okay, so like whatever, like quick setup to this story. I worked in the federal government. I held a security clearance that allowed me to access classified information. I did access classified information. When you do that, you typically have to have, it's like a separate network. It's separate rooms, like separate facilities, separate. Like, in my experience, the government did a good job of like scaring the living crap out of me if any of the stuff that's classified got unclassified, right? Like, I really was uncomfortable dealing with classified material simply because of the liability that or the risk I was taking of like, oh my God, I got to handle this well. So for anyone, I don't care if it's China or not, for anyone to get into a remote access solution and just pivot directly onto a classified laptop, that seems like there's a bigger problem here. Like, why is that remote access solution being able to touch a classified network or a classified system? Like, really, there should have been a classified instance or an in-house one, or somehow go through a jump box. And maybe that's the case. Maybe Beyond Trust had a gov segment to their business and they just did a crap job of segmenting it on their end. But whatever. It's just, for me, for my money, and having worked in that space, I just, it's like, it just blows my mind. Now, there might be some people in chat who have long-term worked in the Fed space, handled class material a lot, and been like, oh no, it's like, it's way looser than you think. But just in my experience, that's the deal. So I feel like there's a lot of opportunities for improvement here. That basically means get you fixed. But the way I like to say it is there's opportunities for improvement. Hopefully we continue to harden our federal government infrastructure, although it's like turning a cruise ship around. It's not going to be easy.
Russian tanker suspected of undersea data cable sabotage. On yesterday's episode of Cybersecurity Headlines, we mentioned briefly that Finnish authorities seized a Russian ship after it allegedly damaged several submarine cables in the Baltic Sea. This story continues to unfold. The ship seized was the Eagle S, an oil tanker that departed from a Russian port on December 25th, and which is suspected of, quote, intentionally dragging its anchor for several miles, resulting in the complete severing of multiple cables, including the Estlink 2 power cable and 4 telecommunications cables, end quote. Authorities from Finland boarded the ship by helicopter, having identified but not arrested 7 suspects. The ship is being treated as a crime scene on suspicions that it is more than just an oil tanker. A report from the shipping journal Lloyd's List describes the Eagle S as, quote, loaded with spying equipment unusual for a merchant ship, and used to monitor NATO naval and aircraft radio communications and to drop sensor-type devices in the English Channel, end quote.
Sorry, I should have had the story up like this and not my big face. Okay. They suspect the fishing ship is more than it appears. It's loaded with spy equipment, and they're dropping spy sensors in the water. Yeah, I don't think I don't think this is Deadliest Catch, Baltic Sea edition. Like, what are we doing here? One thing that's just bananas to me is that you spend all the money and all the time and all the effort and all the training to build a fishing vessel that looks like a fishing vessel, essentially the equivalent of like Tom's Plumbing windowless van in a city, right? It's like basically an FBI rolling, intel gathering point. You build that thing, you got the 7 soldiers or analysts or whatever you want to call them, officers on the ship doing spy stuff. And then they drop an anchor and drag it and just destroy a bunch of stuff. Like, one of those things doesn't match, right? Usually in espionage, when you're dealing with sophisticated threat actors, digitally speaking, they're typically very quiet, low and slow, several persistence mechanisms that beacon at, various rates, including one that'll beacon at like every 3 months or 6 months. So like they can get in very quietly, right? This is Mission Impossible style where they go up through the roof and drop down into the secret room and like very quiet, right? Dragging an anchor and destroying undersea cables and being incredibly disruptive and overt. That's much more like the Juggernaut and X-Men trying to use the bathroom in the other room and just like crushing through walls over and over again. So I don't know what they're doing. This seems like such a boneheaded execution of an operation. I don't know why they didn't arrest them. I'm sure there's some type of like international spy versus spy thing where if they arrest them, it transitions into like a different type of situation. So they're detaining them for now. It shouldn't come as a surprise, dude. Every country of power wants intelligence so they can make intelligent decisions, right? And that includes dropping sensors and eavesdropping on communications and stuff like that. So whatever. I don't understand exactly what kind of cables they cut. Sounded not great. There we go. Power cables and 4 telecom cables. So just kind of like low-key disrupting things. It is possible that they knew that these they knew that there was like a high-value target getting power or telecoms from this cable infrastructure, and they didn't know which one. So they just basically destroyed as many as they could, hoping to get what their objective was. That's the only reason I could see why they do this. This is not a cyber story. I mean, it's physical security, physical intel. If you're interested in the CIA, this is kind of what they do ish. Not get on Russian tankers and dredge for sea cabling, but you know what I mean, like espionage type stuff.
Lumen says it has locked the Salt Typhoon group out of its network.
Yeah, Lumen.
More updates in the continuing Salt Typhoon story following revelations last week that a 9th telecom company had been penetrated by the China-linked APT group Salt Typhoon. Lumen announced this week that the group had been ejected from and locked out of the Lumen network. Company spokesperson Mark Molson told TechCrunch that, quote, an independent forensic analysis confirmed the company ejected the Chinese actors from its network, adding that there is no evidence that customer data was accessed, end quote.
All right, Lumen throws out Salt Typhoon like it's Jazzy Jeff in Fresh Prince out the front door. Good on him, I will tell you. Normally, okay, so first of all, I don't think of Lumen as a telecommunications company, but I guess welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Oh, by the way, if you are here for the first time, if today's your first episode, let us know with a hashtag first timer in chat. And if you had first timer on your bingo card,
welcome to the party, pal.
Yep, there we go. Welcome to the party, pal. I'm just going to quickly check in on everybody's bingo card. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of us cracking in here. Thelma, Brandon Maverick, D-Crashed, the analyst is in here. Somebody with just a cog. Okay. All right, Connor. All right, you guys are doing good. Hopefully you're enjoying it. So Lumen, new telecom communication to me, reports that they've evicted Salt Typhoon. Now, I want to tell you, it is very difficult to... It's impossible to prove a negative, right? So if I said right now, how do you know Salt Typhoon's out? The only way that they could legitimately say it is if they said, we replaced all of our hardware and changed all of our credentials, right? That's the only way to know that they're out. And then that doesn't even mean that you didn't have some like weakness in your infrastructure that they exploited so they can come back in. So I'm not saying Lumen is lying. I'm just saying this is a very difficult thing to definitively prove. Completely removed from the network. That's very difficult to prove, okay? I mean, you can have high confidence, right? That's the thing. You can have high confidence that you've eliminated them from your environment, but it's tough to do that with any certainty. Oh, it looks like we got some first timers in here. Good morning, the evening rogue, and good morning, James Harold. Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Love it. All right, let's keep going. Let's see. Yeah, the U.S. federal government had all sorts of IOCs and intel on Salt Typhoon, provided it, no doubt, to the telecom people, and they used it to essentially remove Salt Typhoon. Now, for an APT like Salt Typhoon, removing it basically would mean identifying all of the persistence mechanisms that they're in there and blocking, C2 traffic, rebooting things, re-imaging machines in some instances, and then going threat hunting to confirm that there isn't any more items. That's another thing from an incident response and a SOC analyst perspective that you should be mindful of, okay? Say you get intel. Okay, like let's use this story, right? Lumen gets intel from the U.S. government that says, hey, we believe Salt Typhoon is in your environment, and we have seen they're dropping these files in this directory. So like whatever, like backdoor.exe in your temp directory, right? To have a stupid example. And you're like, yes, Lumen goes to all the workstations in the environment and says, show me, is there a backdoor.exe in the temp directory? Yes. Okay, delete it and reboot the machine. Done. Delete it, reboot the machine. Done. This machine didn't have it. Awesome. Next machine. And you go through and you delete all of them. At that point, all you've done is deleted that executable, which was a known indicator of compromise, a known tool that the threat actor was using. That doesn't mean that was exclusively what they were using, which is why it becomes difficult to prove 100% that you got them out. Maybe there was a backdoor2.exe and it was stored in the program files directory, right? And the White House or threat analyst or whatever didn't know about it, right? So you didn't look for it. This is why you use the information you get, but then you should, if you have the time, and you should go threat hunting, go look for odd behavior, look for weird, look for unusual in your environment, on your workstations, on your endpoints, and then investigate. That's all I'm saying, right? Just the IOCs you get are not exclusively all of the picture in a lot of instances. In some instances it is, if it's like a simple attack, but not always. Hey, Chica Bonzi or Bonezi or Bonez. We'll say Chica Bonez. Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Thanks to today's episode sponsor, ThreatLocker. Do zero-day exploits and supply chain attacks keep you up at night? Well, worry no more. You can harden your security with ThreatLocker. ThreatLocker helps you take a proactive, default-deny approach to cybersecurity and provides a full audit of every action, allowed or blocked, for risk management and compliance. Onboarding and operation are fully supported by their US-based support team. To learn more about how ThreatLocker can help keep your organization running efficiently and protected from ransomware, visit threatlocker.com. That is ThreatLocker.com.
All right. Hey, Becky Gaylord. All right. Sounds good, DJ BSEC. Thank you very much for your service. All right. Hey, y'all. I want to say shout out to all of you. Thank you so very much for being here on this Friday, January 3rd. I don't know about you, but I feel like I told my wife this last night. I feel like the machine, like the engine that is business, the engine that is work, is slowly coming back to life. Like it's like a train leaving the station. It's not moving very fast, but it's moving. Things are kind of slow the last couple of weeks. I've been taking some time off. Yesterday I worked more. Today I can feel I'm going to be working a lot more. Next week, watch out. We got the PBCC course, among other things. So I don't know if you're feeling that, but I am. But always I know that we'll be here in the morning, and I want to thank all of you for being here. Thank you to the stream sponsors, Barricade Cyber, Antisyphon. Guys, if you are getting value from the stream, please hit the like button on YouTube. It goes a long way to help others find it. Also, bring a friend. Bring a friend with you. We do good work here. We got recognized as Podcast of the Year. We're doing something right, and I feel like it's a shame more people don't know about it. So if you can, bring a friend. Otherwise, holla, holla, holla. And I hope everybody's bingo cards have been cracking. Let me tell you this. It is Friday, which means it's Grayson's Joke of the Week, presented by James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. James McQuiggan always hooking it up. Here we go. Where's James? There he is. Check it out. Why did the computer take its shoes off and put them back on? Why did the computer take its shoes off and put it back on? Because it needed to reboot. All right. I made a joke that our devices were listening to us. I laughed. My wife laughed. The Amazon Echo device laughed. Siri laughed. Google Home laughed. We all had a good laugh. Hey, if you think IoT devices have been monitoring you, the vacuum has been gathering dirt on you for years. That one's a particular groaner. If you're worried about your privacy, IoT devices, cameras in your house, don't worry about it. The vacuum's been gathering dirt on you for years. Oh, so good. So good. So nice. I had to say it twice. Thank you, James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet. And I got to tell you, it's a new month. Let me go ahead and give some membership gifts. Here we go. 5 new members coming in hot. It's a small way of saying thank you to all of you. Here we go. 5 new members. Get in here. What do we got? Here we go. 5 new members. There we go. Patrick, John, Greg Wilson, Rena Bees, and Raven 33. Welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
All right, now we always end strongly. Alpha Sierra, everybody can go on and do it, but Alpha Sierra is the official leader of the La 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 La's. So if she will lead us off. Oh, nice. Cog, first timer. Thank you. James McQuiggan at 35,000 feet with 10 gifted subs, 10 new members to the squad.
Let's become best friends. Yep.
Let's keep going. Second half.
Biden administration finalizes rule to block sale of Americans' bulk data to adversaries. This
Spoiler
rule,
alert.
first proposed as an executive order last February and finalized last Friday, means that companies will, quote, no longer be able to sell sensitive data about Americans to countries of concern, end quote. These being Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, Cuba, and Venezuela, which, according to the U.S. Department of Justice, could be used for, quote, espionage, blackmail, influence campaigns, and other malicious activities, end quote. Malicious NP.
All right. So this is a privacy-related rule. Okay, and look at all these squad members. All these squad members propping up. So here's the deal. Data is the new gold. I have a sticker. Hope gave me a sticker. I'm going to bring it up while they're reading the next. I'm going to bring it up while they're reading the next story, okay? It's in my backpack right here, which is like super heavy. Data is the new gold. I've been saying it for quite a while, okay? The richest people in the world peddle in data. I don't know where it is. Oh, I really wanted to show you guys that sticker. It's an awesome sticker. Oh, here it is. She actually made 2 stickers. Look at this one. Let me see. We got this sticker right here. This sticker's dope. Simply CyberCon 24 hollow, right? Retro synth vibes. But this is the one she made that's super cool. I'm actually going to put it on my coffee mug today. Right? Data's the new gold. Right? It's a Simply Cyber Data's the new gold sticker. It's a little gold bar, 24 karat gold. Anyways, because data's the gold, anyone who owns data can sell data and make bank like a friggin' bank robber.
Straight cash, homie.
Okay? So there is mad money to be made in data, and people know it, right? And they've been selling it for years. That's why Delete Me, honestly, that's why I use Delete Me as a service, because it's just your data's everywhere. People are selling it. Well, the Biden administration is saying, wait a minute, it's becoming quite obvious that there are adversaries, like true overt adversaries to the United States and the citizens of the United States. So the Biden administration says, you know what? We're going to block sales of America's data to adversarial countries. Let me break this down to you, okay? First of all, and by the way, if you work in cyber, even though I'm a super positive person, okay? I'm super positive. I'm still cynical, okay, guys? So get your tinfoil hat on. Here's the reality. Number one, the data that's getting sold to adversarial countries that's going to be blocked by this, most of our data is already over there. Okay? Like, I don't like, this is a fine rule to put in place, but this is like, you know, like banning co-ed dorms when, or it's like banning, I was going to make a pregnancy related metaphor, which I actually think is a pretty accurate one, but I don't know if I'm going to do it that way. So let me put it this way. This is like building a fence around your property when your dogs have already run around, like out the neighborhood. Your dogs are gone. And you're like, you know what? We should build a fence. A fence would keep them in. All a fence is going to do is keep any new dogs you get, any puppies you bring in, maybe keep their data there. But wait, there's more. Do you really think for a second it is difficult for a country with first world power resources, finances, people, intelligence to not like, do you think it's difficult for them to open a shell company in a friendly country that doesn't meet the exclusion list and then buy the data and bring it in? Like, it's just, I get it. Maybe this thing will have teeth. Maybe it'll have a lot of checks and balances in place. But to me, this is like theater, window dressing. Dude, there's so much money. There's so much money in data. Do you think the power players, the ruling socioeconomic tech class or whatever you want to call them, the Gilded Age, the friggin' most powerful people in the world peddle in data? You're coming at me with this. Like, great idea. This looks good on paper, but so anyways, good on us, USA. Genomic, biometric, health, geo, financial data, all that's good, man. Genomic data is going to be on the exclusion list. I'm pretty sure Ancestry.com got acquired by, didn't they get acquired by a Chinese-based company? Or they definitely got acquired. Hold on, Ancestry acquisition. Oh, BlackRock. That's right, BlackRock. BlackRock bought them. Okay. Or Blackstone. I think Blackstone. Okay. So when one of the wealthier private equity firms buys a company that basically has a huge cache of genomic data, your DNA, you know what? Super successful private equity companies don't make money doing nice things, right? They buy assets and then they sell the assets for more money. So it's all about money, man.
Straight cash, homie.
All right. I hate to be such a wet blanket, but it's just this story alone is kind of like frustrating with like, this should have been in place years ago. GDPR has been around for a very long time. But United States, we can't get out of our own way because is like, guys, I love capitalism. I think it's a great system, but there's certain things about capitalism that are really not great, right? And this is one of them. Right.
M package deploys Quasar rat. A researcher from the security platform Socket is warning of a malicious package on the NPM, that is Node Package Manager registry, which appears as a library for detecting vulnerabilities in Ethereum smart contracts, but which actually drops an open source remote access Trojan called Quasar rat onto developers' systems. The heavily obfuscated package is named Ethereum Vuln Contract Handler, all as one word. The Quasar rat, which first appeared on GitHub in July 2014, has been used for cybercrime and cyber espionage by various threat actors over the past 10 years. Looking at...
All right, couple things. One, first time we got to address here, Snadmo Snadamo. I'm going to read the comment. First timer live, provisionally passed CISSP. Lurking many months, helping my good friend break into the industry. Immediately suggested Team SC. Thanks for all you do. There's a lot packed into that comment. First of all, Snadmo, welcome to the party, pal.
Welcome to the party, pal.
Secondly, provisionally passed CISSP, which just means he has to get the endorsement, which is the easy part. Congratulations. Helping a good buddy break into the industry. That right there is definitely Simply Cyber core values. I typically reserve this for people who get their break in and get a job. But this Snadmo, this feels like a wrecking ball kind of thing. So
I came in like a wrecking ball.
that is a wrecking ball type first timer post. All right, so let's keep going. Good morning, Nick Dowd. Hey, let's keep going. So malicious obfuscated NPM package. Okay, so malicious means it does bad. Obfuscated means it's trying to like disguise what it does. Typically, obfuscated is reserved for code, meaning that you don't look at it and the function names make sense or the variables make sense. Ooh, Dan Toner, aka Dan T, wrapping up his first full week. Way to start off 2025 like an absolute boss, Dan. So, Ethereum tool deploys Quasar Rat. So, Crypto Bros, J Crypto in chat, loving themselves some Ethereum, right? Oh, you got to have the keys. Check out my Bored Ape. Ooh, yeah. Ladies love the NFTs, right? So, Ethereum Vuln Contract Handler, that's the name of it. Whatever, you download this thing, and it helps you do something crypto, whatever. And basically it drops a Quasar Rat. Now, what I did not know is the Quasar Rat, Rat, by the way, is a remote access tool. Basically, it allows you to remote in. Come and go as you please. It's like literally a backdoor. So the Quasar one is widely available on GitHub, I guess. Let's take a look. GitHub, Quasar Rat. There you go. So you too can download the Quasar Rat remote access tool right now from GitHub if you want. Written in C#, fast, lightweight, etc., etc. So if you're interested in doing a home lab project, I mean, you can literally download this. I would be careful. This itself is not malware per se. It's a tool that can be weaponized for persistence, right? If it's on your box and you didn't authorize it, that's kind of malware-y. Oh, this repository has been archived as of March 17th, 2024. So this hasn't been updated, but I'm sure it still works, so whatever. 592,000 downloads, so a lot of security researchers going on there. Remote access Trojan. Jesus, I'm sorry. Remote access Trojan. Sorry. I mean, whatever. I'd get that question wrong, I guess, on Security Plus today, but I will point out, remote access tool is what it says in the GitHub. Not trying to split hairs here, but it might be remote access Trojan, but just allow me for a minute. I don't want to fight anybody, but allow me for a minute. No, because it's going to turn into a fight, okay? When I think of Trojan, I think of something else, but that's fine. Remote access Trojan. Here, I'll throw, everybody gets their flowers. Here we go. B-Dubs, remote access Trojan. Sean Sailors, remote access Trojan. Valentino, remote access Trojan. Tech Ricky, Trojan. Jerry, Trojan. What else we got? Bilbo's on my side. Okay, thank you. Okay, everybody wins. Everybody wins. Remote access Trojans are so hot right now.
That Hansel's so hot right now.
All right. Yes, also, really quickly, just a shout out to Jig Crypto in mod chat right now, sharing the this meme of me doing air guitar at Wild West Hackin' Fest, talking about I got to fight for my right to party, for sure. Anyways, the TLDR here is, if you are interested, if you're running crypto or whatever, if you're running crypto and you downloaded this, you're probably screwed, okay? I would, for my money, if I was a student right now, like a full-on student, I might download this Quasar Rat and play with it. Look at it, see what it does, run it, see if you can catch things in the sim, etc., right? And, it sounds like it's a really well-used, it's been around for 5 or 6 years, and it's still being done. Hey, Coffee Man. I don't know if you saw the coffee pot with a handle on it I have now, but this is what we're doing. This is, by the way, Charleston Coffee Roasters, medium roast is what I'm currently rocking up in here. How can you use this story to drive cyber risk reduction for your end users? First of all, you might want to send this to basically IT people or dev team, because NPM packages, NPM is a package manager, right? People pull packages from it all the time. You could accidentally pull malware, okay? So make them aware of that. Two, if you want to do security research and play around, this Quasar Rat, it sounds like a nice compartmentalized piece. Because a lot of times, if you've ever tried downloading people's code, sometimes it's like broken or it's brittle or it's janky, and it's like, ugh. You spend more time working than you do learning. With this Quasar Rat, seems like it's pretty good.
Head to the OWASP Top 10 for 2025. The Open Web Application Security Project, better known as OWASP, is hard at work putting together its list of its top 10 security risks for web applications. With its data collection phase having been scheduled to end by the end of December of 2024, the organization plans to release its list in early 2025. Security researcher Aditya Sawant, writing in Medium, says the 2025 update includes a refined approach to data collection, quote, casting a wider net, pulling insights from security vendors, consultancies, and bug bounty programs, end quote, as well as not just counting how many times a vulnerability appears, but also how many applications are affected by at least one instance of each vulnerability type. This, Sawant says, gives a clearer picture of real-world impact. The top 3 risks are expected to be the same as they were in 2021: broken access control, cryptographic failures, and injection. But Sawant anticipates security misconfiguration and identification and authentication failure to move up from lower positions, with exposed sensitive data appearing in 6th place for the first time. A link to Sawant's article is available in the show notes to this episode.
All right. I see there's a lot of conversation around the Trojans. Yes, the really quickly, just to gather around the fire, if you will, or whatever. Trojan, I wasn't going to do this, but the Trojan malware variant Trojans, it's basically an application or a file or an executable, a binary, whatever you want to call it. It's something, a piece of software that does what it's supposed to do, but also does something else. So this story, where is it? This could be a Trojan in the effect that you're downloading this Ethereum Vuln contract holder, handler, or whatever, and it does do the thing it claims to do. It handles the contracts. It does whatever it does in Ethereum, but it also runs the Quasar Rat. That is the definition of a Trojan malware. The reason I call it a remote access tool is because the Quasar Rat is allowing threat actors to remote in using the Quasar software. That's a remote access tool. Trojan is the malware and the delivery of the Rat into the victim machine. The Rat is the access mechanism to push in. This is why I dispute that Rat is Trojan, because it's not a remote access Trojan. It's a Trojan could be dropping a keylogger, an info stealer, a wiper virus. A Trojan doesn't have to be a remote access element. It is not binded to the remote access piece of it. It is bound to the delivery vehicle of tricking the victim into thinking this is a legitimate binary that does whatever. Okay? Or it's going to crack my Fortnite and allow me to upload custom skins. Oh, it doesn't work, but it's also deployed malware. That's a Trojan. All right. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That one was going to chew at me for a minute, so I apologize. All right. So, hey, OWASP, top 10, you guys, OWASP top 10. If you're working in web application security, if you're into security research, bug bounty, live in that world, NahamSec, 0 day, maybe a little John Hammond action, whatever you're into, OWASP kind of defines the top 10 types of web application vulnerabilities, and they only update it every couple years, okay? They only update it every couple years. And 2025, it's a bumper year for security researchers because they're going to update it. You can see broken access controls, number one, crypto failures, cryptographic failures, not crypto bro failures. Yeah. Injection is number 3. So we don't see any changes. And now security misconfiguration goes up. Insecure design goes down. I don't know if that's related to CISA's secure by design, shifting left kind of stuff. We do see a new category, supply chain failure. Interesting. I like that. So here's what I would say. 2 lessons learned here. Number 1, the top 3 attacks or issues from 4 years ago are the same. We are not getting better. We're not getting better. This is an indictment on us or on, let's blame the developers. This is an indictment on web application developers. You software engineers. Nerds. Dude, come on, man. No improvement on the top 3? All right. So here's the deal. If you're working in security and you have software that you're responsible for, big tech style where you guys are writing it, or maybe you're bringing it in your environment, and you actually have opportunities to test it. You should look at them in this order. Look for broken access controls. Look for crypto failures. Look for injection. Okay, like you should look for all of them, frankly, and there's scanners that will help with that. Burp Suite's a pretty good like web app proxy tool that'll allow you to kind of test some of these things. What I will also say is if you are a security researcher or you want to work in bug bounty, if you are 0 experience, 0 education, whatever, and you want to get in, you can sign up for HackerOne today and start trying to hack and work on bug bounties and stuff like that. No guarantee you're going to get it, but at least you can go through the motions. Now, one thing, I've never done bug bounty successfully. By the way, did you guys see the other day NahamSec got a $100,000 bug from Apple? That was pretty sick. He's like such a nice guy. What I would say is I've been told that if you're starting in bug bounty or web application research, a really good technique is to like pick one of these, like say injection, okay? Like SQL injection or I don't think cross-site scripting. Does cross-site scripting count as injection? Because I mean, you're technically injecting code. Is cross-site scripting an injection attack? Let's check it out. Yes, cross-site scripting is an injection attack. Winning. Wanted to get my facts checked before chat blew me up. So get good at one of these and then know how to look for this particular one, whichever one you pick. Get good at that one, and make that your bread and butter, and you'll be able to move faster. That's what I've been told. Like instead of trying to like get okay at all of them, get great at one of them and go make that how you look. All right, let's keep going.
Large-scale supply chain attack using generative AI is now possible. Crystal Morin, former intelligence analyst for the U.S. Air Force and cybersecurity strategist at Sysdig, says she anticipates seeing, quote, highly successful supply chain attacks in 2025 that originated with an LLM-generated spearfish, end quote. This, she says, is because cybercrime groups now know that they do not need to train their own LLMs when they can steal credentials and then jailbreak existing ones. She states that this is not pointing to a fully AI-generated attack leading to business operations shutdown, but instead the focus will be on more sophisticated social engineering campaigns. She calls spear phishing and social engineering her greatest security concern for 2025.
Wow. Another big brain move today on the channel. Yeah. It's funny. I don't have the AI sound on the soundboard right now, but I'll do it manually. Okay. Like, do you want to play a game? Right. Like the Joshua from War Games. So here's the deal. This is actually a pretty heady idea. We talk about threat actors using AI. We talk about threat actors, prompt engineering to trick AI into doing things. So what they're talking about here is like, instead of trying to jailbreak it or figure it out or stand up their own infrastructure, AI companies and their employees will become very targeted in 2025. Makes sense. Now, again, if I'm an AI company, you're Gemini, Anthropic, or I guess Google, Anthropic, OpenAI, Microsoft, right? If you're one of these companies, you have to have, first of all, you probably have a ton of money, right? Because
Straight cash, homie.
because those AI companies are making bank. You would think that they would have pretty good security. Just because a threat actor spearfishes Tony over in accounting doesn't mean that the threat actor immediately gets into like the nerve center of the AI, right? This isn't like this is a super deep cut. This isn't Pierce Brosnan in The Lawnmower Man. What was that, like circa 94, where they get into VR and like the mentally disabled guy who gets into VR and turns into like a super god and he goes evil and rogue and stuff like that. Like, just because you get into the credentials doesn't mean all of a sudden you're like at the root center of controlling all of the AI and all of a sudden like Gemini is marching like Godzilla on Tokyo for you. That's not what's happening. A lot of things have to happen between me, threat actor, sending a spear phishing email and you, victim, getting exploited by whatever nefarious means I've done with AI. Okay, so there's a lot there. Here we go. Thank you. It is a bit of a deep cut, but here we go. This is what AI, and this was like cutting edge graphics back in the day. A lot of polygons. Okay, like like if your video game looked like this, you had the hottest graphics card on the market. Like kids were coming over your house to play if the graphics look like this. Okay, if you've never seen it, like JMod, don't bother. It's not that great. If you're gonna watch a movie that deals with VR, that's like an older one, go watch oh my god, it's an awesome movie. It's a Michael Crichton movie. It stars Michael Douglas and Sandra Bullock. Not Sandra Bullock. Oh my god, who's the woman who was in A Few Good Men? She was married. She like aged backwards somehow recently. Demi Moore. Yeah. Disclosure. Yeah. 1994 Disclosure. If you get a chance, I mean, it's not for kids, okay? Obviously. But there is, yeah, it's an erotic thriller, but there's like a lot of VR. Like they work at a software company and there's like VR stuff going on. It's actually a phenomenal movie. But if you get a chance, that's what's up. Anyways, so long story short, like, yes, protect the AI. Threat actors are going to be targeting employees and staff at AI companies. Honestly, I don't know if they're going to be like, you got a 50-50 chance you're being attacked so they can get into your AI, or B, so they can just steal money from you.
Straight cash, homie.
Because AI companies are printing money right now. If I'm a threat actor, really only like nation state threat actors are going to be bothering with this type of attack. The attack is the spear phishing on employees. The impact, the action on objective, the far right of the cyber kill chain is what is going to be different. Nation state threat actors might be doing this in order to be able to run custom queries, jailbroken or whatever, but it's going to make noise. It's going to make logs. I don't know how long they'll be able to hide in plain sight. I think a far greater than 50-50, a far greater risk is getting into the environment and then ransomwaring them because you know that they have tons of money. That to me is really what you should be looking at for 2025. All right. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
Make sure to join us later today.
All right. Make sure to join us later today for our 1 p.m. AMA on the Simply Cyber Discord server. AMA Discord server. All right. Hopefully everybody's been enjoying the bingo. We haven't seen a winner yet, but welcome to the Goon Squad. Welcome to the party, pal. All right, guys. I hope you enjoyed the living crap out of the show. This has been episode 784 of your Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Gerald Auger. It's been fun. Don't go anywhere because we are going to be doing a panel AMA. It's a segment we call Jaw Jacking. It's like a separate show altogether. And basically, it's a lot of fun. It's a community thing. If you have any questions about career, industry, cyber, whether that Quasar rat was actually a Trojan or a remote access tool. Spoilers, it was a remote access tool. The delivery vehicle was a Trojan. Come join us. It's going to be all about good times. We will be joined by a panel. I know Fleetus is going to be joining us among other people. The mods are always invited. As usual, I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. Don't go too far. We'll be right back. Yeah. Ever wonder what it takes to break into cybersecurity? Join us every weekday for Jaw Jacking, where industry experts answer your burning questions about the cybersecurity field. Live, unfiltered, and totally free. Let's level up together. It's time for some Jaw Jacking. MIA for 10 days? Bro, killing it. Let's go. All right, welcome to Jaw Jacking. I am your host, Jerry Guy. Coming hot off the heels from that nerd, Dr. Gerald Auger's Simply Cyber Daily Cyber Threat Brief. Come on, man. It's Friday. That guy's all starchy. No, but we're going to have a good time. We are joined, as I mentioned, by Fleetus. Let's bring him on, ladies and gentlemen. Fleetus Poston. How you doing, Fleetus? Fleetus, you're on air. Good morning. Fleetus, can you see that you're on the air? You look great. Good lighting. All right. We'll let Fleetus go over here for a second. I think Fleetus might be watching on the replay, but hearing me in real time. We'll get that sorted in just a second. When you're good. All right. Why did the non-nerdy one wear glasses? Exactly. I got to tell you, it's getting warm in the Buffer Auger Flow studio, or as Mara Levy says, in the garage, that I'm going to have to shed a layer. But don't worry, everybody. B-Dubs, Chris Whitlock. I am wearing the GRC Mafia shirt, so get ready for that. Ronnie Wong's in the house, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Fleetus, you ready? Let's give Fleetus another shot. Fleetus, you're in the house. What's up, buddy? Fleetus. I think Fleetus is dealing with some IT issues. Fleetus is phenomenal, though. He's going to be joining us in a minute. All right, guys. Let's try again. He says, okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Fleetus is in the house. Hey, Fleetus.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you just fine. How are you, bud? Dealing with technology?
Oh, well, trying to figure out my audio this morning. So,
all right. Here, let me fix my camera so we can do that. All right. So, guys, this is Friday panel jaw jacking. Let us know in chat if you got your bingo and if you need to pull yourself off.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. Yep.
Now I can't hear you. Give me a second to figure that out.
All right. No problem. I'll keep talking. So let us know if you got your bingo. That's always a good time. Also, what do we got? There was some other stuff. Oh, we have the AMA at 1 p.m. So definitely check that out. Also, I'm desperate need of a haircut. I don't know if anyone else realized that. Oh, we got 2 Fleetuses now. Hold on. Guys, you thought 1 was good. Now we got 2. Come on, Fleetus. Hold on. Can I do this? Look at this. Like, now I'm like I look, I'm the VIP. I was going to say, like, being trailed by 2 Fleetuses. That would be pretty dope. All right. Fleetus is rocking the coffee. Yeah, in the garage. Okay, so what else? What kind of questions you guys got? What kind of things are we doing?
I can't get this figured out. I can't hear you, but you can hear me.
Yes, we can. Reboot. Hold on, we'll pull Fleetus off real quick here. All right. Hey, it's Deb Wigley, everybody. I know Deb Wigley was on my bingo card. Yes. All right. What does Anton Dobson say? No. See, Haircut Fish the other day made me play a Charles Finfrock sound effect so he could win last month. I don't know if that's fair. Yeah, so anyways, good times. Guys, a little programming update. You know, I had this other studio that I was doing back there. I kind of took that down. It felt like it was more trouble than it was worth. I'm still playing with a couple different looks and feels, but just so everybody knows about that. Also, I want to let you know, if you are registered for the Personal Branding for a Career in Cyber live course that I'm giving next week, know that you will need to be on Discord, because the Discord server is how we're delivering the curriculum. If you haven't joined Discord yet, you must join Discord. I've sent out several communications to the students for next week's class. So if you're not receiving my emails, definitely check your spam filter as well. And if you know someone who's registered and they're not here right now, please share that with them. Fleetus is back in the house. We're going to go ahead. Maybe it's the Chiron at the bottom. Now we'll change it to Jaw Jacket and see if Fleetus is here. Fleetus, you're live with us on air.
Why can I not hear you? What is going on this morning?
Fleetus, may I offer a suggestion? If you go into Restream in the settings and then choose the audio, you can select audio input and audio output options. It may be grabbing a different one.
We just become best friends. Yep.
There we go. Space Tacos, shout out to Rhonda Rummerfield for a dope presentation last night in the Study GRC weekly meeting. So good. Tons of fantastic info on GovTech. I got to tell you, I know Rhonda Rummerfield. She's local to my area, and she's a phenomenal, kind person, and also super, super smart and crushing it. And she's also in the PBC course next week. So if you're in the course with her, you're going to get to know her just as well as I do. All right. No, thank you, everybody. He's having tech issues. If you can grant me a grace for a second, I gotta peel this layer off. I'm like starting to melt in here. Hold on one second. Talk amongst yourselves. All right. Now, if you're wondering what they're talking about, hold on one second. See if I have this in my my thingy here. Yes. Now, if you hear them, you hear Space Tacos giving super chats to Rhonda, talking about the talk last night in Study GRC. What, you might ask, is Study GRC? Let me show you really quickly, 30 seconds. I think you're going to like it. As Simply Cyber's founder, I want to introduce you to our sister community that's making waves in the GRC space. Are you interested in governance, risk, and compliance, but feel overwhelmed by the complexities of the field? That's exactly why our communities exist, to help you navigate this journey together. Study GRC, led by Chris Whitlock, complements Simply Cyber with weekly YouTube gatherings every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Here, professionals share experiences, build connections, and whether you're new to GRC or an experienced practitioner, you are welcome there. Study GRC shares Simply Cyber's mission of breaking barriers and fostering connections. It's a welcoming space for learning and sharing. Join the community on YouTube this Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern to see our communities in action. Visit studygrc.org to join the movement. Let's build a more secure future. That is what GRC, Study GRC, Chris Whitlock, and the team are doing over there. They've been doing it for over a year and having some great success. GRC Mafia, B-dubs. That's where we're at. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we got Fleetus Poston joining the crew. Fleetus, welcome to the party, pal.
Glad to be here.
Oh, yes, look at this. See? No big deal, man. It's this. Welcome to AV drama. Welcome to my life.
It's PebKek Friday.
It is. It is. All right. Looks like we've also got Joseph, Casually Joseph, or you may know him by his online presence, Cashmere. Casually Joseph.
Oh.
Hold on one second.
Yeah, I'm always on the left side of the frame. I'm always on the
All right,
left
hold
side.
on. Let's move you over here. You're still got to be in frame,
Yeah,
though.
I am in frame.
All right,
I'm in
let's
the
do
center
this
of my
for you.
frame.
Let's do this for you. How's that? Better?
There you go. Yeah, what's going
Now
on?
you can be comfortable. All right. You know, just as a quick programming note, you'll notice, see how Fleetus has got his back into the corner of the room? I kind of have it off center. Joseph does too. When you position the camera so it goes towards a corner, not a flat back, it actually gives a greater depth to the room. It's like a little like web hack thing. If you're looking to like optimize or trick out your camera view, that's what's going on. But Fleetus, remote access Trojan, remote access tool. Within the context of that story, do you have an opinion?
So rats are always interesting when it comes in. So I'll give the story. I think the biggest thing is your remote management software. So like your ConnectWise, your remote desktops are prevalent to be used as your remote access. You can also pretty much just understand that an adversary just needs a foothold. So all they're trying to do is mimic or get into play. And that's where I think the biggest problem with remote access tools, your EDR should catch that. Your endpoint detection and response should. Also, if it's a Web3 transfer, it should be caught by whatever your next gen tools are placed. But what we've learned, and I'm going to do another buzzword, it's your XDR that comes into play. It needs to see the heuristics of all of your tools to figure out what the actual user is doing. The problem is if you're used to using remote tools such as PowerShell, WMIC, or whatever, it's not going to flag an alarm unless you do something nefarious, for lack of a better term.
100%. Great, quick breakdown. I love it. Really quick, do want to say shout out. I said it earlier, but just again, shout out to Deb Wigley in chat. It's been a minute. The holidays are always a weird time because a lot of people are, reasonably are focused on other things and things slow down in the workspace. And I haven't seen Kathy Chambers, Deb Wigley, Jason Blanchard, Zach Hill's only been a few times. So the whole Black Hills Antisyphon crew, great people. And it's been a minute. So I just want to say proper hello. And if you had Deb on your bingo card, were you playing bingo, Fleetus?
No, I was in and out this morning. I was dealing with something. So.
Oh, okay. Yep. It is just for fun. Joseph, did you have your bingo card rocking?
I did not. I was hoping with mod chat.
Oh yeah. You were working too. All right. Well, all right. Well, hopefully somebody had the bingo card going. So what kind of questions you guys got? Would Lima Charlie have caught it?
If you had it tuned.
Yeah, exactly. Anything will get caught if you tune it right. Mm-hmm. But to Fleetus's point, living off the land, if you're using Windows packaged binaries to execute your persistence, it's not going to get caught, right? You'd have to have behavior-based detections that identify weird uses like Notepad launching command.exe or something silly like that.
I wanted to throw my hat in the ring really quick on the remote access Trojan remote access tool thing.
Go for it.
So the Trojan is going to be what delivers the remote access tool. If you go to CISA, it's called the Quasar remote access tool. If you go on their GitHub, it's a remote access tool. You can use TeamViewer, which is a remote access tool, as a Trojan if you were to pack it into something else. So the remote access Trojan is just the mechanism of delivery. Thank
you. All right. So Casually Joseph, if you didn't know, Joseph actually has a YouTube channel called Learn to Defend, cyber-based focus channel on education and dropping educational knowledge, just like Fleetus. Fleetus, what's the update on your channel and the delivery of your mentoring cyber education?
Sure. So this week, kind of taking the GRC piece and going after cyber risk, security awareness tips. So dropped something again this morning, just letting people know, focusing on shorts, periodically dropping 10 to 20 minute educations. I put one out this morning on the OODA loop. So if you guys are not aware of it, just understanding how you observe, orient, and protect yourself. So that's out there now as well. Pretty much just trying to sprinkle in some knowledge, figure out what the audience wants to see, and just continue just to give back to the community.
All right, awesome. And once I get Fleetus's and Joseph's YouTube links, I'll share them. I will tell you, Joseph, when I literally will search "Learn to Defend Joseph," and it won't come up.
I don't know why. I have tags. I have everything you tell me to do. I think YouTube just shadow banned me.
Well, yeah. All right. Oh, there we go. All right. So really quickly, just to share this with everybody, and I'll share Fleetus's as well in a hot minute. Let me share screen so everybody can enjoy this. There we go. So this is Joseph's YouTube channel, Learn to Defend. Love the retro synthwave vibes. Joseph is also a huge fan of the Midnight, so I appreciate that. So I'll drop a link here, and then Fleetus, if you share yours, I will. Oh, I see it. Perfect. Let me drop this here. So this is Joseph's channel, and then Fleetus's channel is going to be this one right here.
There we go. I think this one says it a little clearer.
Oh yeah, there it is. The Midnight. He's got the album cover. Love it.
I got 4 vinyls from them. I'm stacking up my vinyl collection 2025.
2020. I love it. Fleetus, are you a big like setting goals for the upcoming year and kind of moving on that?
Kind of. I think biggest thing is learning to say no. Has been one of my goals this year. Is not continuing to say yes to things. Also setting realistic goals. So using a basic mindset and putting time-based goals. Because if you don't put a time to it, it's not a goal. It's just an objective or a hobby. So trying to make sure that I time-base my stuff. What can I do in 30 days? What can I do in 6 months? What do I want to do today? And then checking them off. Plug real quick for a friend of mine, John Hubbard, just released his new Blueprint podcast all around this. How do you tackle your year? And what do you go out there? It's if you followed the Sands Blue Team, he just put out his podcast, I think on the 2nd. It goes all through goal setting, what tools you can use. So shameless plug there for that podcast as well as John Hubbard.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Elliot Mattis just put it in chat. Smart goals, SMART. I know we talked about it a couple times, Jerry. Maybe not on stream, but the smart goal planning. That's how I like making my goals as well. It has to be time bound. It has to be realistic.
100%. And also take what you want with this particular nugget I'm about to give you. I read a book over the break, and it's going to help me. It's helping me set goals for 25, and actually, it's part of a bigger system of something I'm doing in 2025. But there's been research that shows humans can like focus and execute on a direction for 90 days, and then after about 90 days, it starts to kind of like fray, and it's almost like if you watch the Loki series on Netflix, where the time thing at the end just starts like threading out 90 days. So like, I would recommend when you talk about, like Fleeta said, set dates. I'm a huge fan of setting dates. You don't have to set the date within 90 days. Like I'm going to get a Security Plus in 90 days. You could say I'm going to get Security Plus in June, but make actionable goals that can be accomplished in 90 days that are reasonable, and then execute them, and then revisit in 90 days. What are you working on and what are you doing, just to reset your focus and attention? If you try to set, in my opinion, because I've done it before and failed, if you set 2025 goals, you're gonna like it's just too far away. You'll lose sight of it. Like actionable things. All right. Fleetus has actually provided a link to that podcast he mentioned. Let me go ahead and bring that up. I'll share it with everybody. I am Ron Burgundy. Oh, there we go. Yeah, here it is. Fleetus, you said it's called Success Simplified, the 3-step, the blueprint, build the best in cyber. John Hubbard?
John Hubbard. It's a good series. He's done several seasons. For those who want to know, he did an entire season just on the MITRE framework with the authors of the MITRE framework around it. So there's an entire series on it. This one, he went more like career building. So like he focused on the start with why, the 5 why techniques. He gave you some book recommendations inside of it. And he just worked how you manage your time. What does time management look like? So it's a pretty thought-provoking podcast.
I love it. And I'm dropping some of the, I don't know why I can't. I was going to share your notes in the chat, but that's not working. So I'll drop a link in chat to the actual podcast so people can grab that if they want. There we go. Very nice. All right. Let me see if we have any questions coming into chat. Yep. If it's a goal without a date, it's just a concept or a dream, kind of similar to what Fleetus was saying. Oh my god, guys! It was so freezing cold. It was like 58 in the studio when I came in this morning, so I turned the heater on, and now when you have like an 18,000 BTU or whatever, I have something that should power like a house inside this 10-foot by
Ooh.
10-foot box, and I'm like low key need to base myself right now.
Sorry, I see a question that piques my interest. Mozilla asking, what exactly is MITRE?
Okay, yeah, great question. Yeah, you wanna break it down?
Yeah, if you want to pull up MITRE, I can kind of walk through
Well,
what it is too.
MITRE or MITRE attack, right? I mean, MITRE is much bigger than MITRE attack.
Yeah, I'm assuming they mean MITRE attack.
All
So
right.
you also got defend.
Yes,
You've got
you
a
do.
full. They've got the whole thing. So you've got the entire research arm. So
You got
you can
MITRE
take this in many
defend.
different
I
ways.
mean,
Didn't they release something else too this year? Like a third thing? Like that's actually like better. Like people crap on defend all the time.
it's the one that's used for active defense, right? Cyber deception. That one, MITRE.
Yeah. It's another like shield or something like. But anyways, let's do MITRE attack. I mean that really is probably what they're saying. You could talk to it, Joseph.
Sure. Yeah. It is Shield, by the way. So MITRE attack. There are a ton of words on that page. I always like showing people it and them just staring at it and like seeing their eyes glaze over as they see like the 500 words on the page. If you haven't heard of the concept of the attack or the cyber kill chain before, basically it lays out the different phases of the cyber kill chain. You have where attackers are going to be. If you start at the front, it's always going to be that recon. I see you're pulling up cyber kill chain right now.
Yeah,
I'm
trying to find one that's like visually appealing.
Yep. So you have recon, weaponization, delivery, exploitation, installation, command and control, attack on objectives. I don't really like the cyber kill chain because attacks don't happen in a straight line. They are very much a cyclical thing where they are going to do recon on your environment. Maybe they do no recon and they're just firing pre-crafted exploits and they hit something and they have to do recon once they're in the environment, right? It kind of jumps around. It doesn't always make sense. But MITRE attack is basically a way of trying to identify. Yep, that's a much better. What is that? That's Microsoft's kill chain.
Yeah, Microsoft. Like I have the same problem you have, and when I teach it to the Citadel students, I always do the straight linear line, and then I bring up this one. There's actually another one that has 3 of the loops in there, but it all tying back OODA loop, right? We're talking loops today, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, keep going.
So the MITRE attack page, what it does is it breaks down the different techniques that attackers can use in the different phases of the attack cycle. And it also provides the benefit of they'll have TTPs, techniques, tactics, and procedures for adversaries. So, for example, Akira, or if you had someone specific you were looking into, you could look them up and it will tell you like what tools they're using, what they're going to be doing in what phase. So if you've already seen, for instance, the way I like to think about using MITRE is like, okay, you're probably never going to pick up the recon phase unless they're doing some really loud scanning of your environment. So if they've already compromised you and maybe you see them installing persistence somewhere, you'll be able to see, okay, they've hit persistence. What are they going to do next? You can kind of refer to this MITRE attack and be like, this is where they're going to perform lateral movement, right? And you can try and see what they're going to do. So it's basically a big repository of all these techniques.
Looks like Akira also uses remote access tools in their utility.
AnyDesk Putty they've used. I've seen them do TeamViewer before. Screen Connect. I mean, if they can get their hands on it and exploit it, they're going to do it.
Right. Yeah. That's another thing that you should realize about real threat actors and MITRE attack. Like, yeah, they have TTPs and stuff, but they don't care. They're not getting like a high five or a bonus at work if they use the Quasar rat. Like if AnyDesk is on your box, they'll use it. They don't. It's all about the action on objective. It's not about how they get there. Right.
Yep.
All right. So a lot of questions coming in now. Who makes Shield? Yes, that is also that's also MITRE, and I've heard it's pretty good. Cyber Stoic David B wants to know what an OODA loop is. Fleetus, you want to break it down?
Yeah. So it's pretty much an IR technique. It started with the military. So you got to make rapid decisions real quick to try to make sure that you're one step ahead of your adversary. So it was taken from the military fighter jet mindset and applied to cybersecurity. So you're trying to observe, orient, and then you want to make sure that you can take the proper lessons learned and actions. So really, it's just observing and then orienting yourself as quick as possible so that you can go through that. I shared another link in our back chat. It aligns very well with the DARE model, which used to be the PIC roll, depending on how you pronounce it, to make sure that you're ready to go through the process. So there's like a 10-minute video I just put up. It's more or less an intro. If you scroll down about halfway, Jerry, you'll see how the DARE aligns with
my God.
what you were just looking at.
Yes,
So
sir.
it brings you in from the detection, the verification, your triage, and then you do that loop we were just talking about with the kill chain. You go to your contain, your eradication, and OODA loop is just doing this as quick as possible. You always want to be 1 second or 5 seconds ahead of the adversary. So the quicker you can tighten your loop, the quicker you can contain and eradicate. If you get their loop inside of yours, like the adversary, you tend to always be chasing a rabbit down a different hole. So that's what it's there, is just to quickly make a 30-second decision, for lack of a better term, of what you're going to do. How do you orient yourself? And then you just go.
I love it. This is great. And I'll drop a link. I'll drop this link into chat right now. I dropped it. Hold on. Let me drop it in this chat.
Yeah. So the pick roll was before. That was your preparation piece. That was the old model. It was kind of linear. Like it was like a waterfall. The DARE is more of like the agile that we're used to seeing today, where you don't see the waterfall of going from recon all the way down or starting with preparation to lesson learned.
So optimized for the modern environment. I like it. I came up on waterfall techniques, and I also was around when Scrum or Agile came out. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense. Nothing's worse than getting to the end of the race and realizing that you were supposed to take a left turn like day 2. We've got a new panelist coming to join us right now, ladies and gentlemen. You know him as, I guess he doesn't really have a handle. Captain Joy, ladies and gentlemen, Josh Mason.
Captain Joy? What is that?
Well, so Josh is a pilot, and he flew C-130s or C-10s or something. He flew big pickup trucks.
C-130s.
Yeah, he flew the pickup truck in the Air Force. So I was trying to give you a cool call sign, like, Maverick
Fungus.
or Truth or, dump truck or whatever.
My call sign's Fungus.
Fungus?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
Joseph can tell you why.
You don't get to choose your call signs.
Yeah.
Usually people give them to you.
Yeah.
Mine was Pop Strike.
I was like, I think J Gold or any Marcus probably even tell you why it's Fungus. But they pay attention.
No, it's
sorry.
all right.
I was walking the dogs and heard you guys talking about the cyber kill chain and MITRE and OODA loops, and was like, I got to get on here. So basically ran
True.
home.
As a pilot, the OODA loop would be your thing. So what do you want to share about OODA loops, man?
Well, so OODA loops, it was an idea created, or at least like put together by John Boyd, of how people think and react and then execute. And as a fighter pilot, he was trying to figure out how can we beat other planes in a dogfight. So we have to be able to, everyone's got an OODA loop. We have to make our OODA loop faster. Whoever has the faster OODA loop, whoever can observe faster, orient faster, decide, or act faster. So what do you do in each of those phases, and how can you do it faster than the enemy? That's who's going to win in a dogfight. But Boyd, after he retired from the military, he taught on the OODA loop for decades, taking like almost no money. Get paid, especially when you're working for the government. Because there's a really sad story there at the end. But it's something that then we can take into any other job. And this was OODA loop was why I used loops and life cycles in my old podcast. I'm a huge fan. So Fleetus, I think, covered it really, really well. How can you identify things in whatever you're trying to achieve to then decide and act without getting stuck in an observe or an orient phase? Sorry. Didn't know if you guys could hear the
Josh
dog.
just OODA looped on his dog. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Did you see it? He executed it.
Sorry.
See, he made a
He's-
decision and he acted. I'm going to get the dog. Like, how do I get the dog to stop barking? Decide, bring it on stream. Done. Dog stop barking. Continue moving forward. Great execution of the OODA loop, Josh.
Thanks. And then the cyber kill chain, you guys are talking about it being linear. It's not necessarily that all those things have to act linearly. The kill chain, why it's a chain, has to do with how can you stop attackers.
Mm-hmm.
So if at any point you're able to break the chain, then you stop the attack. In the flying world, we use that for mishaps as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's the chain of events that leads to a mishap, like a crash.
Mm-hmm.
So it could be maintenance, it could be personnel, it could be this, that, the other. It might be multiple things. But the idea being that if you break any one of those at any point, now you've stopped the effects of the attack.
Right. And I
That's why
agree. Yeah.
Chain.
Yeah, I agree. Luke J pointed this out in chat, and I kind of responded to him in chat. I understand why it's like why it's called the chain. I just don't like how it's taught, because sometimes people teach it that it always happens in that order, and it does not.
Yeah. That's,
I want to step in there for a second to both of your points. That's why I like taking MITRE, the pickerel, the OODA loop, all of them, and putting them together and meshing is important, because to your point, like once I break the chain, it's great. But if you break the chain and don't take any next action, so there's no decision after you break it, you've just,
Now what?
all you've done is just delay the inevitable of them going through another route. Because most of the time in this field, and when I use the medical term, it's all about triage. So what was pre-mortem and what was post-mortem? What happened before the event and after the event? So just because you broke the mortem, aka their dropper, their C2, you killed it, they still may have creds, they may still have a scheduled task, they may still have something else that you haven't caught yet. So really it's doing that pre-mortem and post-mortem inside that linear kill chain process, because we're not going to catch recon. You're never going to catch someone recon unless they're talking about it. They have to talk about it for the most part. When I say never, it's you. I can recon all day long on you, and you'll never know until I publicize, hey, I'm studying you, and this is what I know about you. But half the time, that's just social engineering, which is sales at the end of the day.
Yep, exactly. Like if you got LinkedIn Premium, you'll see who's snooping on your account. But
yeah, that's when you just use
other
stock
than
accounts
that,
for that. You
you're
use
not really
stock
getting
accounts for that.
That's what I say. Yeah.
A couple quick ones, Josh. Yes or no? Did you ever fly with 71 RQS?
No.
All right, so we got a no on that, Compu Chris. Mr. Underhill, I feel like I feel this, right? Like nodding along because he's played Ace Combat.
I do like Ace Combat. It's a fun game.
I just love that he's like, yeah, I'm right there with you, Josh. So good.
Inside the OODA loop.
Yeah, the OODA loop. Luke J saying, why are soft skills so important? We just talked about goals and how they are important with various podcasts. We can run around the horn on this one. Why are soft skills so important? One, it's because like it's when we talk about work is not like if work could be done by like a machine, you would just build a machine to do it. Like work is done by people, and there's certain interactions and interfaces that have to happen, and communication is one of those really, really critical ones. And if you suck at soft skills, if you stink at communication, then like not even like, oh, this guy's an a-hole, like I don't like talking to him. Like if you're not good at communicating, you can't transfer information to another individual who has to make decisions and take, execution based on information that you're given, right? So like, Luke, you're a blue teamer. Imagine, if you will, you saw some type of incident in your environment and you called that, the head of the server team, right? And you're like, hey, there's something going on your file server. And they're like, well, what's going on? You're like, it's a really bad thing. Okay, like, what do I do? I don't know, but because, it seems like it could be awful. Like this is a hyperbolic example to make my point, but like, you're not telling them anything that they can do. You're just kind of saying things. Now, if you call them and you're like, hey, listen, I want you to know on server, file OS 003, there appears to be some type of compromise. I suspect there's files in the temp directory. Go check that out. I'd like to quarantine the box. What is the impact to not allowing network connectivity from that box out to the internet? We can maintain internal access within the internal network. Like this is deliberate, objective information that can be executed on and allow collaboration and communication. That's just like one example of why soft skills are so important. Another quick example, and then I'll turn it over. Fleetus next. Another quick example is like, if you're talking to an executive team and you're talking about like 0 days and bits and bytes and you're showing them assembly code, they are going to be just short of double middle fingers, right? Like, all right, hey, this is great. Why don't we table this meeting and we'll talk later. Like, you're not talking at the right level for that audience. And that's another critical thing. You're effectively wasting your time because you're not achieving the objective of why you're even speaking to them in the first place. Same with end users, right? If you're talking about end user stuff, but you're talking at high level and like super, vague, you're not going to get the behavior modification that you're looking for when you're discussing with that. Fleetus, what are your thoughts on soft skills?
So you generally can't teach them. When I say you generally can't, you have to be curious. You have to be a self-starter. Those are soft skills that mainly work in this field. When I say you can't teach them, you can try. I mean, I've seen people who can focus. Like if they have either disorders, but they generally burn out. But at the end of the day, to your point, Jerry, is like, if we can't communicate effectively, and I'm going to upset some people, but it's the Fisher Price mindset. If I can't distill something into 3 colors or 3 main topics quickly and concisely, I failed you. Especially when you're in the elevator pitch or you're meeting with an executive, or if you're doing a board briefing, they need to know as quick as possible and as concisely as possible. And if you're a rambler like I can be at times, it gets you in trouble. So I need to be able to know you're an effective communication, both written and verbal. I can teach a little of that, but I can't teach curiosity. I can't teach self-starting. I can't teach some other stuff at the end of the day. Can I enable you with skills? Yes. Can I teach you how to do some things? Yes. But at the end of the day, like, if you don't take the self-initiative or have the morale, for lack of a better term, or motive is probably what I'm looking for, you're just going to burn out after the end of the day. You're going to try hard and you're going to be like, okay, this is not for me. I'm going to go back to finance. I tried security. Security is not for me.
A follow-up question really quick, and then we're going to go to Josh. Can you learn soft skills, Fleetus?
Kind of. When I say kind of, like I just alluded, like I am working with my interns on empathy. Like having empathy can be learned. Like being compassionate can be learned, but it still takes time. And it's an evolution. It's not going to happen today. It's a marathon, not a sprint.
Mm-hmm.
Josh, thoughts on soft skills? I want to go around the whole panel on this one because I feel like soft skills is very important and often not discussed.
It's Fleetus is right on the money there. I can teach you how to do Linux shell commands.
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be like it looks like this because of this, and you go and you do it. And at the end of the day, you could SSH in, move around, make files, delete files. I can teach you that in a day. Some of the stuff that Luke's talking about, it's not gonna happen in a day. You might pick up pieces, you might pick up parts, you might start thinking about it, but these are long things to fix. For example, I did my talk. Some of you guys saw it on the Antisyphon cast or Anticast a few months ago, and then I talked about it at Hack Redcon and B-Sides Philly, using social engineering for good. So there's a lot of principles from Dale Carnegie, where understanding a lot of those exact same pieces on how to empathize, communicate with others, put things in terms of the other person's interests that you can explain and you can show and you can give examples, and then you can work with others on examples that they might know. But it's not something where like, boom, now you can go and do that today. And you'll now have it forever. You always know what goes in TMP and what goes in USR. Like, it doesn't work that way. But you can learn about them and then work towards them. At least that's what I always tell myself. One of the things I think is funny about Luke asking this question is Luke is so high on the empathy and soft skills that it's funny that he's like, he asked about it. Luke's
Luke-
the guy that at Wild West Hacking Fest, you're standing around with Luke, and there's people there who we don't know. He's like, "Hey, I'm Luke. What's your name?" And he asks everyone their name, and then he repeats their name throughout, like, while talking to them throughout the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone else shows up, it's like, "Oh, hey, this is Bob, Jimmy, Joseph, Jerry, and Fleetus." And like everyone who shows up, "What's your name? What are you about?" includes them in. So the guy can teach a master
got
class.
won an award and got recognized for his kindness and empathy at Wild West Hacking Fest.
Yep.
So,
Exactly.
yeah. Maybe, hey, you know what? Maybe Luke's asking for the people in chat who don't have the soft skills and don't know how to ask that question, and he's just literally continuing this kindness. Joseph,
That's what he does.
What else on soft skills that we haven't talked about yet?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think a lot of your soft skills are going to come from life experience. If you've ever worked in the service industry, if you've ever worked in any kind of role where you're having to interface with people, you're going to have to learn how to get things done. And that means that you'll probably learn problem solving, right? That's a big one. I don't know if we really touched on it, but problem solving is a huge one in our industry. It doesn't matter if you're in an extremely technical role or if you are more business interfacing, you're going to need to be able to solve problems, because if you were given a specific budget, say for a non-technical role, and you have to make a security plan out of $5, then you're going to have to sit there and figure out what to do. If you can't problem solve, you're going to have a tough time, and you can't really teach someone problem solving. Problem solving comes from a background of having to make things work. And there's no real way of learning it unless you're just doing it.
All right, I love it. Really quickly, yes, I've got confirmation. Okay, hold on one second. We have confirmation. Valentino has successfully got the bingo. Winning. Looks like we've got Eric Taylor, Nelson Laugh, and Antisyphon. Josh Mason is on his bingo card, Josh. Thank you for coming on to stream. You definitely were the missing piece. So hot right now. Shall we play a game sound effect, which I did manually, and we are in jaw jacking. Congratulations, Valentino. Wonderful work on bingo today. Don't forget, later today at 1 p.m., we are going to be doing the AMA on the Discord server as well. So that's always a good time and a lot of fun. Fun question. Haircut Fish is always dropping fun questions in chat on top of all the learning that we're doing. Just quickly go around the horn. Video games the panelists are playing. I'm currently playing trading card game Shop Owner Simulator, which is the most ridiculous thing. I can't believe I got addicted to it. Josh, what you playing any games right now?
Yeah, I just started Assassin's Creed Rogue.
Ooh.
All right, Assassin's Creed Rogue. Joseph, where are you at?
Playing Path of Exile 2 and Terraria.
All right, I like it. Fleetus, you got a game you're cracking on?
I'm helping my son with Pokemon Violet right now.
Ooh,
There you go. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Same with the trading card game. Oh, like it started as me and my sons playing together, but they weren't really pulling their weight, so they got fired. But you know, that didn't fire them. They're on a PIP. You know, we have a meeting next week to talk about their performance, so we'll see how it goes.
Are you giving them training alongside?
Yeah, well,
resources.
There might be an opening at the shop.
But Gary, you can't let your interns go. Like that PIP never has any consequences other than continual PIPs.
Continue pips. Yeah, exactly. I love it. Getting back to 2025 goal setting and whatnot, we talked about a few minutes ago. Space Taco says, holy crap, it's already January 3rd. Is it too late for me to set goals for the year? Josh is nodding his head. No, Josh, what are you
No. We come up with this idea that every year you have to come up with something new. It's really just a time bound that people latch onto really easily. Out with the old, in with the new. Out of the fall into the spring, like renewal sort of thing. But you can set goals and start goals whenever. I being autistic, like I don't do goals like that. Anyways, for me, SMART goals is a cool idea and I like it, but it's unrealistic for me. Because my brain, like I just don't process that way. So you can start your goals whenever you want. One of the things that is going to get you across that line is tracking your goals. That's what the point of SMART goals is supposed to be. Now you've got a timeline to work towards. There's things that you can track. There's milestones that you can put out there. So start whenever you want, but have a process for it. So what are you going to check on? How are you going to know you're succeeding? What are your KPIs?
Yep.
Sorry, just to make everyone cringe.
No,
on this
it's
Friday.
good. It's good. Like I'd love to share mine because I'm like I said, I read a book and I'm trying to commit to the practice in that book. So just to show you guys like how I'm doing it, and I said earlier in the stream, if you missed it, that I believe you have to adhere to 90-day basically sprints. So I have printed out, I have to do paper. I printed out all of 2025 and I actually have 30 or 90-day sprints mapped out when I'm going to review my goals for those 90 days. And then I've actually written, these are literally my goals for the 90 days. And I've broken it out by weeks. So like week 1, week 2, like basically I have 5 goals for the quarter. And by week, I need to accomplish these things. And I'm actually I'm going to have a review meeting every 2 weeks to make sure I'm on track and get on top of that. Because one of the problems is if you don't make sure that you're staying on track, kind of like in the agile method, then by the time you get to the 90 days and you're like, oh, I messed up. Like I totally whiffed on like adhering to these things. You're going to be so far behind, you're going to get discouraged and just abandon it altogether. So this is the technique that I'm adopting for 2025. I'll let you know how it goes, but I'm pretty excited about it, which is like such a GRC dork thing to say, but I am. Let's go.
So to that is, you hit on something there that's important. Share them with someone, either your mentor, your partner, your spouse, your boss, so that you can have someone to help hold you accountable. You can miss a goal. It's okay to miss, but it's also important for someone to say, hey, I noticed that you have challenged yourself to pass X, whatever that cert is, or you want to volunteer X number of hours this month. Have you done any volunteering work? So like, make sure your goals are not just technical goals. They need to be personal. They need to do something that can allow you to give back. So I'm going to volunteer 10 hours this month. Make sure that you do that. Is it 2 hours a week? Is it one full day and then a half day somewhere else? Make sure they're measurable, as we talked about with SMART. I know that's hard to do, but you got to have accountability. Either yourself with the paper that Jared just said, have a mentor or mentee check on you, or a colleague / a boss. So.
Yep.
Yeah. And don't be shy. Like say like you're already got something lined up. Like say you are going to speak at a conference in February, like put it on your goals. Like, oh, like speak at a conference. Like just because you've already got it locked in doesn't mean you can't put it as a goal, because when you look back on the year or the quarter or whatever, you can be like, oh yeah, I spoke at that. I did this, and really like get appreciation. For me personally, I know Atomic Habits is a really popular strategy, but like momentum, like just move forward, just move, take one step, right? The next step will be a little easier. Eventually you'll be running and you'll be like, oh wow, I can't. But if you try to think about like full blast sprinting, it's overwhelming. It's too much. You just got to take that first step and start moving forward.
Yep.
So,
and you're right on. Like one of my goals for this year is around Simply CyberCon. Which sounds like a cop out because we've been planning it for over a year because we started before the last one.
It's a big thing to do, though. It's a big ass thing.
Yeah, for me, that's one of my goals for this year. New Village, volunteer work at Wild West Hacking Fest, my book. Those are all things that are on my goals list. But people have losing weight, passing a cert. By the way, who finished his CISP before like the last month? Because I want to meet you. Because everyone I know who I've been helping with CISP waits until like the last month of their eligibility to finally schedule it.
Yeah, there's that. There is that. Also, another thing I want to share, like I hope I can convey this right, but it had a lot of impact on me, and I read it. I read it in this book I just read last weekend. But like we talk about goals, okay? don't, and Justin Gold mentioned this kind of in chat, which sparked my mind on this. Remember, guys, it's not just about the goal. It's the journey to the goal. And like the metaphor I read was like, there's like some crazy island in Hawaii, and there's like this long road you have to travel. It's like, like 7 or 8 miles road. And it's the road to Hana. And right at the end is this little tiny village called Hana. And there's really nothing exciting going on there. And this husband and wife went to Hana, and the road is gorgeous. It's like rainforest, and there's, animals and plants and wildlife and gorgeous smells and sounds and everything. And when they get to the Hana, the wife's like, what the hell? Why is this so special? This is a tiny little nothing. And it's like, you miss the point. It's not the goal. Like, yes, the goal is part of the reason, but don't miss the journey. Like, don't be so heads down that you're missing all of the things that you're picking up along the way and the people you're meeting on the way to that journey, on the way to that goal, because that has value as well and will have positive impact on you if you receive it in that way, and be mindful and alert and aware that those things are going on at the same time. I just want to point on that, because we get so pinned on the goal that we lose sight of the journey to achieve the goal, which is got value as well. So I just wanted to talk about that for a hot minute.
I want to call out one chat and add something. Failure, like I think I can't read the name off. Failure is the real part of the true success. Failure is just one way not to succeed. Failure is just one way not to succeed. So like learning from your failures, just like a breach or an incident, you learn from it, positive or negatively. Every single one is a learning opportunity. Just like every goal that you set is a learning opportunity, to Jerry's point. Like I tell people all the time, like when you speak, don't just look at the person in front of you, look at the back of the room. Because if you never look at the back of the room, you've missed half your audience. And you're speaking, you can't be so narrow-minded that you only see the front row. Like you got to make sure that you engage the entire audience. So to Jerry's point, make sure you look at the trees when you're driving down the road. Like metaphorically, don't just look at the trees, but make sure you're aware.
You'll drive into one.
Just make sure that you see all the people you're passing, all the people that are coming along with you. Like there are opportunities to bring people with you on your journey. All you have to do is invite them and engage with them, because they may learn with you. Like I've learned, side story real quick. You talk to the cashier all the time. It's the bagger who's actually gleaming the information from you. So like giving facts to the person, maybe the person making your sandwich, not the cashier, who's actually gleaming from your conversation. So be aware that people are listening to you and hearing what you're doing and saying. So be intentional with your conversations.
100%.
Also,
Yep.
There's this idea of failure or success. In the flying world, we didn't use the term failure unless it was equipment, just not out of like a reason, but you have gear failure, flat failure, or engine failure. People don't fail. If you feel like your goals are failing or you're failing, that's a societal your scope that has been trained into you, because people think about failing tests or failing exercises or failing assessments. And again, that's because you've got a scope thing. Instead, it's this timeline that doesn't really exist. You made it up. This endpoint that you set doesn't really exist. In flying, everything comes down to the TOT. Like when C-130 land, at least, the stuff that's going to land on the troops who are waiting for it, everything backs up to there. When you brief, when you go to sleep, the last time you have to like stop drinking, all is driven based off of that TOT. But even that is a time that we made up. In the end, if it doesn't make it, if someone starts shooting at you on like the run-in, you're not like, well, we have to make this TOT. No, that is something that you made up. The overall mission, the overall goal, what you're trying to accomplish there, like it can roll. It can go to the next day. It can go 2 days down the line. Like it doesn't have to happen right now.
Yep.
Cool. Good thing. Like you might have, you might be trying to accomplish something and you need these other things to line up. But in the end, it can probably happen the next day.
Yep.
Probably happen the day after that. So
I absolutely agree.
Right now.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. And Josh, it's always nice hearing you talk about the pilot life and whatnot, because I think that's one of the things that got ingrained in me was that failure can be a gateway to success, because I used to be really hard on myself when I was first learning how to land the plane, because I sucked at it. Like, it's not intuitive. It can be very hard, especially if you're doing the special landings, depending on what landing you're doing. But I used to look at my instructor. I'm like, that was a bad landing. I sucked. That failed. And he's like, no. He got me in the air and he did a really crappy landing. He's like, you know what I would call that? I'm like, what? And he's like, that's a good landing. I'm like, why? And he's like, we can walk away from it and the plane still flies. And I'm like, but like, it was rough. And he's like, yes, but you landed and you're going to take off again. And that's just one of the things that just got instilled in me, and it was ingrained into me.
Right. It's not award winning, but it's good.
Yeah. You
It
got
does
by.
the trick.
It'd be all right.
This is the goal.
Yeah.
I love
Doesn't
it.
always have to be pretty.
I was today years old when I learned Joseph flies. I thought he was talking about like Ace Combat Simulator.
No.
Like,
I was
He
17.
flies more often and more recently than I have.
Yeah.
that's awesome. I didn't know that. That's cool. See, you get learn. I'm with Joseph all the time, and I didn't know that. That's cool. All right, we've got just a couple minutes left. I want to let everybody know our good friend Daniel Lowry is going to be going live like he does every Friday at 10 a.m. And we at the Simply Cyber community, our core values are support, inclusion, value delivery, integrity, and support and inclusion is definitely including letting you guys know about Daniel Lowry and what he's doing over there. We love Daniel. Daniel's a Team SC member. He's awesome. He's really funny too. If you enjoyed AMAs like we've been doing today, talking about goals, soft skills, technical skills, etc., that's what this podcast is also going to be like. So you can get more of that style pod right in a few minutes. I'll drop a link in a second. On top of that, remember at 1 p.m. today, we do this the first Friday of every month on the Discord server. So simplycyber.io/Discord. You can come join us. These members might be on the panel. I'll definitely be there. Joseph's almost always there. Fleetus and Josh, you're more than
I'll be there.
You're invited. We'll do more of this, more in engagement. It'll be a little bit more intimate, so you can feel confident sharing a little bit of vulnerability and not sweat it. Okay. Real quick, go around the horn. 30 seconds, Fleetus. Final thoughts? Anything you want to share?
Just be confident, trust yourself. And as I always say, be a mentor, be a mentee.
There you go. Always learning. Josh, what do you got?
The roughest person on you is going to be you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can give yourself grace for your goals, for your successes, for your failures, you're gonna go far. That's the first thing that's gonna lead to burnout, is when you start getting on you. Just as we start this new year, hopefully the days get longer, people get more vitamin D. But if you're in a rough spot right now, just understand that you're the roughest person on yourself. So if you need someone to be in your corner, like, you got this.
Joseph, final thoughts?
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing. You know, first week of the year, small steps lead to a big palace. I mean, if you feel like you did bad last year, that means you can only improve, right? So just try to win.
It's a good point. And I guess since like sticking with the theme or the vibe of this roundup, do not let perfection get in the way of progress. I used to be a perfectionist. I used to be super organized. I mean, I'm still organized, but like super, it's got to be perfect. Everything's got to be lined up. Okay, let's execute. And then within like 30 seconds, it gets punched in the mouth and like everything falls apart. So have a plan, get some ideas, have some loose structure and stuff like that, and just move forward. Do not let perfection get in the way of progress. I'm telling you, you're going to look back in a month, a week, a day, and you're gonna be like, oh, wow, like it's awesome that I made progress. People are going to notice you're making progress. You're going to feel good about your progress. And if you're just stuck in the drawing phase, lining everything up, talking about what you're going to do, you're not going to make any progress. And we want you to be successful here. Guys, thank you so very much. Special shout out to the panel, Fleetus, Josh, Joseph. Thanks for coming on. Josh, I know you were walking the dog and you boogied double time back to share your thoughts with us. It's all about good times. Guys, I'm Jerry from Simply Cyber. I hope you can join us to raid Daniel Lowry's IRL. I dropped a link in YouTube chat. I pinned it so you can get that link. Until next time, which would be 1 o'clock today in the Discord server, stay secure. Later.